pageant community, beware. There will be no international pageant. It's because of Brayhan Guerrero's mismanagement. He has known for months that he has not paid the PR firm that he hired to organize the event in Dubai. Where did that money go? I asked for a full refund on my franchise fees. Then he removed me from the director's group chat, tried to alienate a delegate from her director. This was so unprofessional and it crosses a line. It is beyond behavior. This is a pageant community beware PSA. I'm super passionate about pageantry, and that's why I think that if I come across things like this, it's important for me to talk about it. And I really didn't think I'd have to make a pageant nightmare-esque video again, but here I am, unfortunately. Also know that I can only share information from conversations that I have personally been a part of. There's other important details, I feel, but I will leave that up to those parties to hopefully talk about publicly someday. So if you don't know, Miss Teen Universe is an international pageant for teen girls aged 13 to 19 years of age. It is under the leadership of Brayhan Guerrero, and it was set to be hosted from October 25th, 2021 to November 7th, 2021 in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. I can attest that this has been a fact that has been acknowledged since March of 2021 at the very least, because that's when I first learned of this opportunity to direct the Canada franchise. It is with deep sadness, but ultimately disappointment and frustration that I must announce that there will be no international pageant in Dubai October this year. This is a fact that has been made official since September 22, 2021. And it's not because of COVID or restrictions, it's because of Brayhan Guerrero's mismanagement. He has known for months that he has not paid the PR firm that he hired to organize the event in Dubai. He says part of this is because directors haven't paid their fees, but I also know that he has received a significant amount of money from a few directors. So where did that money go? Because I know that that money hasn't gone to the PR firm and isn't really explained. I get into the financial bit a little later into this video. Today's date is October 1st, 2021, and at the time of recording this video, I have not heard anything from Brayhan Guerrero since September 24th, 2021. Of course, a bunch of directors have been sending messages, asking questions, including myself, that have gone unanswered. He continues to stall and mislead, and at this point isn't responding at the group chat. I know pageants. I've been a reigning pageant queen for 8 consecutive years. I started at the age of 17. I am now 25 years old. I have represented Canada and Philippines. I know what it's like to have a good pageant experience and a bad pageant experience. I spent April to end of July dedicating my entire life to this pageant. My delegates and I worked so incredibly hard for this pageant, only for the international organization to do this and treat me and my fellow directors with such disrespect. I was willing to put in the kind of sacrifice that I put in because I did believe in Miss Teen Universe. And I knew that if I wanted to host a successful pageant in such a short turnaround, it demanded tremendous amount of work and sacrifice. As we were nearing a month before the pageant, of course, directors and delegates were kind of panicking and wanting and had an urgency to know what the hotel situation was going to be like because we still hadn't gotten any sort of information about it. Every time we asked, it was always, we'll have an answer soon. And however, the director for USA, Costa Rica, and Mexico, Nicole, Renault, she was given hotels, and they said that we're going to host it at the Atlantis and the Versace. If you look that up right now on like Dubai hotels, Versace and Atlantis, they're super expensive and they're fabulous. So that was like amazing. Of course, we're pumped for it. For a while, directors and I were asking for a lot of information, and it became very clear that the kind of information that was disseminated to all of us was different. Like, not in the way that it was not the same, but more so I knew a bunch of things about the competition, and this director hadn't gotten all the information. There was no clear information packet about the guidelines about this specific international pageant. Like, when you enter a pageant, having a delegate package or some sort of guidebook really helps, you know, prepare you for this. September 5th, 2021, we had our first grand director's video meeting. I have had meetings with Brayhan before, so we have met already prior. Online. There it opened with Josh Yugen. He is the owner of Yugen PR. It is the firm that Brayhan wanted to collaborate with to organize the entire event in Dubai. But of course, it came out in that meeting that Brayhan hasn't paid him, and thus nothing was prepared essentially. No hotel, no set activities, nothing was there. It was 51 days before the pageant was set to begin. Disclaimer, Josh Yugen has been fabulous. I don't place any blame on him, and he is doing his job, rightfully so. He shouldn't render any services until he's paid. I'm not blaming anyone for this situation except for Brayhan Guerrero, because he is the director of Miss Teen Universe. On a piece of paper I saw, it says that Freddie Medina is the president and then Brayhan Guerrero is the vice president. In all our communications, Brayhan has presented that he is the president of Miss Teen Universe. I wonder about putting Freddie Medina in the same boat, because his name is on the forum and he is the guy that we've been sending money to. But again, Brayhan has made it abundantly clear in group communications that he is the president. So I'm just working with facts. Back to PR and fees. Apparently a deal that has been long standing for at least a year now is that Brayhan was set to pay Josh Yugen and his PR firm, let's say above $15,000 US. By the time that we had our September 5th meeting, he hadn't paid him anything close to the amount. There was a citation that Brayhan wanted to just figure it out on his own, but then now is the point that he decided, I can't do this on my own and I need to tell the directors. I mean, obviously we all wish that he told us a lot earlier, but this was the boat that we were in. Like, as brave as it sounds that you wanted to do it on your own, this is a business. We are your clients, your investors, your business partners. How could you lack this much transparency with us? At this point in time, you've known now that there's been a handful of us directors that have hosted pageants, selected our winners, bought flight tickets, hosted media campaigns, gathered sponsors, bought wardrobe, or are even working with designers to develop the wardrobe. Some have had to arrange visas and also talk to embassies to arrange for their exams to take place in Dubai instead of their home country, because the pageant would be recurring during them. That's countless hours from so many people that were relying on you. The way that he's acting in this situation, just to me, feels so heartless and cavalier. I know for a fact that some of us directors have sent you a significant amount of money. Or to Freddie Medina. So, where did that money go? Why haven't you paid Josh? He is arranging everything, the entire show, so why haven't you paid him? That means if you do pay him, you're giving him less than an entire month to produce an international show. In that meeting, he asked us directors if we could give him more money. Just give him more money out of the kindness of our hearts to bail him out. Definitely, if he communicated to us a lot earlier, we were all willing to try and figure out something or help out or host in different countries. And even now, some people are stepping up and saying this is how that they could help in this way. But the thing is that this was his choice. So fast forwarding, by September 28th, when I was writing out everything that I wanted to say, Josh has only been paid 6% of the total fees needed. So that means 94% of the fees has not been paid to Josh. So on to September 22nd, the whole sending money fiasco. Josh reasonably set boundaries with Brayhan. If he didn't pay the full fees by September 22nd, there would be no pageant in Dubai in October. It was the fair stipulation. In the meantime, understand that we're telling our girls, still waiting for information, don't know what's happening, which makes us look bad for sure. September 22nd, Brayhan started saying that he had the money. Yay! But did he though? He was like, I'm sending Josh the money, but Western Union is holding it. He just kept using that excuse and continues to this day uses that excuse. I don't feel like it has a lot of validity at this point. Then we started asking if we could see a receipt. No personal information needed. You could black out whatever you want. We just wanted to see Western Union and the amount that was being sent. And we never got that. The only thing they did send was this tracking number, but the tracking number doesn't provide any information whatsoever. And so when Brayhan and I were chatting, he was saying things like, oh, they're holding it and I don't know why and all that stuff. I'm like, well, did you call them? He kept saying that he tried, but they said Dubai won't accept it. And I kept poking holes into what he is saying. They weren't fully explained or logical to me. Eventually, he sort of admits that he didn't call Western Union to see what was going on. He called a different time about a different transaction, but not about this one. So it's like you didn't even try. So obviously he missed the deadline. Out of the kindness of his heart, Josh decided, if you could send me the money by September 27th, then we can host the pageant in January in Dubai. So gave him another chance to have a pageant. At this point, I had enough of Brayhan. I had no confidence in his capabilities. As a director, I absolutely did not feel comfortable sending any teenage girl to be in his care. September 27th came and went, and Brayhan did not send the money to Josh, of course, and did not respond to the group chat at all the entire day, and still hasn't as of October 1st, 2021. He still has my money. I'm still the director for Canada. I still paid all my franchise fees. If anything, he breached our contract by not doing his part at all. And then keeping my money. Until you give me my money back, I'm still the director. If you give me my money back, then you can find a new director. But until then, you have no right. So at the very least, I know that he has $900 US from me. He has $9,000 US from director Nicole Renault. Here, I'm going to briefly talk about two very unprofessional incidents that had occurred recently. And I believe that they were beyond and resounding evidence of why I no longer trust this person and would never send my girl to him, and cannot in good conscience allow other people to work with this organization without this knowledge readily available to them. It involved him kicking me out of the directors group chat all of a sudden for asking questions that exposed him, and him attempting to alienate a director from her delegate by sending falsehoods, as what I can speculate was retaliation for her also exposing / standing up to him. So for me, after he failed to abide by the September 22nd deadline, I asked for a full refund on my franchise fees. Then he removed me from the directors group chat. How unprofessional. When he kicked me out, he was telling everyone, oh, well, she's not the director anyway, it's Angelo. And by the way, Angelo and I both signed the contract together. Receipts right here, receipts. And so we were both the director for Canada. And he was telling everyone, oh, she's not a director. And like, what? And that doesn't make any sense. I don't understand this tactic. He has had a number of meetings with me too. He has introduced me as the director for Canada at a number of meetings already. So why all of a sudden am I not a director and you're saying this to everybody to try and discredit me and have an excuse to kick me out? I did immediately send a screenshot of the contract with both Angelo and I's name on it to some of the other directors and the PR firm, and I appreciate them. They stood up for me and sent it to him. Angelo spoke up as well because he was still in the chat, and he added me back into the group. Soon after though, Nicole came into the chat, and I'm furious for her. As I mentioned, Nicole paid $9,000 US for her 3 countries, USA, Mexico, and Costa Rica. And when Brayhan lapsed on his payment, Mexico and Costa Rica could not go on the proposed January date. And so, of course, Nicole's like, hey, I would like a refund of my fees for those 2 countries because they no longer want to go and they've already incurred enough losses, understandably. Side note, Nicole has also been heavily mistreated by this organization. Hope that you guys will hear from her soon. She even offered to organize the pageant in Costa Rica for the organization if they couldn't make Dubai happen. She has always said that USA still wants to go. But Brayhan decides to text her delegate from the USA himself. And it essentially said, your director does not want you to attend us if we want to have Alana, her name, in Miss Teen Universe. You should tell me what to do. We love Alana in Miss Teen Universe. I am furious reading that. How dare you try to alienate a delegate from her director like this? By lying to her and using this buttery language, when Nicole called him out and said that that was so unacceptable, he essentially said, well, everything you've done is unacceptable. Brayhan, legit, everything that you have done is so unacceptable. This was so unprofessional and it crosses a line. It is beyond behavior. So, conclusions. Right now, I am focusing on making this right for my girls. And I immediately paid her $1,000 cash prize in full instead of giving it to her as a stipend as it is in our contract. I, of course, could no longer give her an all-expense paid trip to Dubai because that part was contractually supposed to be organized and paid for by the international organization. I did offer Elle a variety of other international pageant competitions I could send her to, but ultimately she respectfully decided to not go that route. And instead, we're going to try and figure out to do something alternative here, so working on that. And if anyone in Toronto or Canada would like to help us out with that, we are open to it. That would be appreciated. But this is the best I could do for now. I am considering hosting my own teen pageant next year. I've gotten a lot of requests to continue down that path. I've also been unsure if I just want to transition straight into just doing Miss pageants or doing something else, but I do still have a lot to share, I feel, for the pageant community. It depends on a number of factors. I feel like there is a lack of regulation in pageantry, and it's a global industry, so that's a big problem that I hope I or other people can tackle. So honestly, I feel the most hurt for all the directors and delegates around the globe that really believed in this and worked hard for this. And you know, these girls all competed for a spot at the international competition. Brayhan Guerrero, at this point, you should be focused on doing the right thing. You failed to fulfill your duties because of your choices. I can firmly speak for Team Canada that we want our franchise fees refunded to us. You know how to contact me. If he does do it, I'll let you guys know. This could have been an incredible brand, but with Brayhan Guerrero leading the charge, I don't think that it will get to the place that it needs to be for everybody. So I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not expecting much, but all I can do is take solace in the fact that I have put it out there, and hopefully, if anything, good people can avoid dealing with this guy, or at least go in with more knowledge about what he has been like as a business partner. I appreciate you guys so much. I've appreciated your support throughout my journey directing Miss Teen Universe Canada. It was an amazing experience on the national level. I love all my delegates. You guys are so important to me. Again, I'm so sorry that this had to be the outcome of everything. I look forward to the future and hopefully doing things with you guys in the future. You guys will always have a special place in my heart. You can email the organization or message them on their Instagram. Tell them to do the right thing. That's the only call to action I could think of, is if they see that people care about how everyone is treated in this organization, and I would hope that they would actually then take us seriously. I really don't know how to end this video, so yeah.